Hey everyone, what's up? Robert Groove User here with another video for you, and in this video I want to show you how you can build a GroovePages website from scratch following a basic plan. Now in the last video I showed you how I like to plan things out with a basic outline of what the site's going to look like. So kind of almost a map of how the site's going to be, what the site's going to be for, and what elements I want to have on my pages. So in this example I'm doing a single page website and I've planned out all the elements. If you haven't seen that previous video, go and have a look. It's only 5 minutes or so, very quick, and it will show you how to plan this out. I know what the website needs to do, and also I've figured out what I need on the page. So the next stage is to jump in and actually start putting this together. So I'm going to do this over a few different videos so that you're not, it's not too long to watch in one go. It's a lot of information to take in if you're brand new to this. So let's try and break it down, make it as simple as possible. And the way GroovePages works is you build your page with a series of blocks. So you'd have a block up here, another one underneath, another one underneath, and within those blocks you have your content. So looking at this example here, I'll have a block up here with an image in which I'm going to put a headline and some intro text and a logo. The next block would be this sort of subtitle. The next block would have the features and so on, working down the page. So the first thing you want to do is head over to GrooveFunnels and come into GroovePages. And then up here, click on New Site. And then we're just going to use a blank template over here. So click on that, give it a name, and click Start Building. And you'll have a blank slate to work on. And then we can start pulling in our elements. So the first thing to do is we want to bring in a block. I'm going to go to wireframes and I'm going to select empty. And I just want to bring in, at the moment, an empty container. I'm going to drag it across here, let go, and that's going to drop on my page. If we look up here, I'm going to have an image in the background. So I'm going to add that later. But for now, I'm going to, if I make sure I've got the clicking on the block, you can always tell you're on the block because you get this little star, and also down here at the bottom left, it tells you that you're on the top block. If I'm on the container, if you look at this bottom left down here, you can see that I'm on the container, which is within the block. So I can either, to go back up to select this block, I can either click out here, or I can click this arrow, which will go up one level. So now I'm on the block. See, I've got the star and it says block here. If I go back, I'm on the container. I can just click on the block down here, bottom left, and that takes me to the block. So instead of an image, just for now, just so we can see what we're working with, I'm just going to put a background color on. So I've clicked background with that block selected. I'm just going to give it a gray color for now so we can see what's going on. And in here, I want to have a headline and some text over on the left-hand side, and on the right-hand side at the top, I want a logo. So first thing we're going to do under elements, because I'm bringing in two things, I want two columns. So I'm going to grab that, drag it in, and let go. On the left, I want to have my text, my headline, which will be H1 for SEO purposes, and then I'm going to have a paragraph underneath, which I'm just going to pop under there. And then on the other column, now the logo I'm going to eventually use, I know it's because I've designed it, it's going to be a round logo, but if you're putting a normal square image, you can use this one. I'm going to use this round image under media. Everything I'm bringing in is under the elements tab. So I've scrolled down under media, I've got round image, click and drag, wait until it's inside, you can see where it is on the page, wait until it's inside the container you want it to be in, and let go. Okay, and eventually this image that's going to go in here instead of this grey is going to make this box bigger. So I'll just simulate that for now, just with the size, just make that bigger so you can see. And I don't want these to be touching at the top, so I'm going to give the block some padding. So just inside here, just at the top actually. and I want this logo. So I'm not on the logo. I'm going to select, if we look at the bottom, image round, I want the container that image is inside. And I'm going to click on layout. And I want it to be at the right and at the top. It is at the top anyway, but I just want to make sure that it's not going to move. And the same with this text over here. I'll select the container, go to layout, and I want that to be on the left and at the top, and I want it to be vertical, so one above the other. And that's that. So if we go back to our plan, that's pretty much that block done. So the next thing, I want to have another heading under here, subheading. So I'll bring in a new block, wireframe, empty, put in an empty container. You just drag on the page until it shows you where it's going to go. So I want it underneath. Let go. That's in there. And under elements, I'm going to put some H2 text in there. And that's going to be why we can help you. I'm just going to type it in for now so that you can follow along with what we're doing. I wouldn't usually do this. I would usually have my text pre-populated in another document, and then I'd copy and paste in. But just for this exercise, we're just showing you so that you can refer this back to our plan. Now I want to go to that block. I'm going to go upper level. So I'm on the container and upper level again. I'm on the block. I want to make sure that the text is centered. So I want it to be in the middle. And I want to give it a bit of space. So I'm going to go to spacing. And in this case, I'm going to give padding just to make sure that that title is going to be nicely visible. As we change the fonts later on, we'll change that again. But just for now, just so you can follow along and it looks somewhat like what we've got here. The next thing we've got, under there, we've got 3 columns with features, feature 1, 2, and 3. So again, we want to bring in a block under there, wireframes, empty block. We'll bring that down underneath there, let go. And then under elements, we want to bring in a 3-column with containers. Drop that there. And then we're just going to have 3 features. Now, with these, I think we're going to do an icon, a little title, and a little description. So we've got, something that's relevant to what the feature is, a little icon, then a brief description of it underneath it, and then the title of what it actually is. So for now, what I'm going to do is put in, I'm going to grab under elements, under media, I'm going to grab an icon. Okay, I'm going to grab some text, which I'll use H3 for this. That's just going to go underneath, and then a short paragraph underneath there. So that's those 3 things. We'll do the same for the other 2 as well. So elements, so we can bring in our icon. I'm going to do it to the 3rd one as well while we're here. Then we'll bring in our H3 sort of subheading. If you find that it doesn't want to drop where you want it to drop, just let it go where it is, and you can always move it down with this arrow afterwards, and it should let you do it. If not, move the other one up like that. Okay, and then we'll put in another H3 over here like that. Then we'll go with another paragraph underneath and another one underneath there like that. Now I want these to be aligned in the center of each column. Okay, so to do that, I'll click somewhere on the text. I'll go up 1 level so that I'm within the container. That's the container within the 3x3 layout. I'll go to layout and I want it to be vertical. and I want it to be centered. And I'll do the same to all three. Vertical, centered, vertical, centered. And I also want this paragraph text to be centered text. So under text, I'm going to click the centered option for all three. And the other thing, I want to give this heading a little bit of space. So I'm going to just give it some padding, and I'm going to go just to 1. Same on that one, top and bottom. So this, you imagine this here, this area in the middle is the thing that the element that you're working with. So this area above and below it is the space around that thing. That's called the padding. And then the margin is anything outside of that area. So in this case, we're just dealing with the padding, top and bottom. Take it up to 1. And there we go. So what we will do is just save this, make sure that we don't lose our work as we go. So we're up to here now, feature 1, 2 and 3. I'll just pop those in so that you can, it's easier to follow along. So feature 1, 2 and 3. So if we look at this, we want to put in the services section, which is a main block. Then we've got a title, 3 columns with an image in each column, and then under each image we've got some text, and then that repeats again underneath. So the first thing we want to do is bring in a block, bring in an empty container underneath there. Okay, and then we'll bring in the text first. There we go. And then under the text, we want to bring in 3 more columns. Let's put it there for now. And then we can just move this up above it. There we go. Right, then under elements, we want to put an image in each of those columns. So 1 in here, and 1 in, where's my image gone? 1 in here, and 1 in here. While we're in here, we're just going to center this. So we'll click on the text, and we want that to be centered. And we also want, if we go on these 3, we want this to be, we want to select the container, which we've got, and under layout, we want that to be centered for each one. And then under each of these, we're going to put some text. So we'll go to elements and paragraph here, and we'll drag that in so that it's just after the image. Don't worry about how it looks. We're going to fix that in a second. Same here, after the image, and the same here. Let go. Now we're going to select the image, go up 1 level, so we've got the container that the image and the paragraph text are inside, and we're going to go layout, and we're going to go vertical, and we're going to go centered, and you'll see that brings the image back to the center. So same again, select the image, go up 1 level, so we've grabbed the container, go on to layout, vertical, centered, and the same with the last one. Okay, and then again, as we did with these, the text, we want it to be centered here. So under the text banner, we click on the centered option. And then a couple more things. If we look here, I imagined having this as a different block with a different color to differentiate it. So let's just go, if we click anywhere in our services section, I'll just change this so that you know what we're referring to. And I go up a level, and I've got the main container that is holding all of these things here. So let's make that a color. So we go to background, and we'll make that grey. We're going to give it some spacing up at the top here. So that's done with, because we're talking about the outside spacing, it's margin. Click on that. When it's pink, that's the one you're adjusting. I'm going to bring that down. And I'm going to click on this text here, the title, and I'm going to give that some padding. So that's not outside, but inside that box. Just like so. And then the images, I'm going to give those a little bit of space underneath, so that there's not so much. We're going to go 1.5 on those. Again on padding, 1.5 and 1.5. Sorry, under spacing. Padding, 1.5. There we go. We'll save that. So that's our 3-column layout with our description underneath. It's obviously not going to be this long. We're going to put our own text in there in a minute. And image 4, 5, and 6 and service 4, 5, and 6 are going to be, they're exactly the same. So there's an easy way to do that. If we click in here, we go up a level. We've got the container within the 3-column layout. We go up again, we've got that whole 3-column layout. You see down here it says layout 333. Now up these 3 icons here, the left hand one is duplicate, the middle one is bin or trash, and the last one, as we've used before, moves you up a level in this this line here, how it works out. So what we want to do is duplicate it, so we'll just click that, and if we go down now underneath, that's made us a copy. You can see this is a bit squashed at the top here. So under spacing, I'm just going to go margin, and I'm just going to push that down so that it all looks quite nice. Give it a bit more space so that the text goes with the image. And then at the bottom, we're going to give some padding. You see how this text finishes right at the bottom. So we don't want that. We want to add that grey. We want to let that grey box continue. Something like that. Okay, so now if we look back at our plan, we've done this block. The next one, we've got an image in the background across the whole page, and then a contact form in the middle. So let's do that one. So again, we want to come blocks, wireframes, empty. We'll bring in an empty block at the bottom there. And like I said, it's going to be an image. I don't want to do this on the container, I'll do it on the block. But for now, I'll put just a colour in so that you can see you know, how it looks. Let's just do it a different colour so it looks different from the other one. So that's going to have our image in the background. You can't see it here because it's showing this container, but whatever you put here, you'll see it will change in a minute. And the other thing, we want the contact form. So you have got preset ones in here. I like to build them from scratch. So under elements, I'll show you how to do that quickly. We want to make a form. So under form, these are the elements here. We want to put in an empty form first. So you put in the form, and then we can fill it with stuff. See how that's now gone green, as if this was the image, you'd see it all the way through. Now in a form, we want to collect, in this instance, their name, their email address, and their phone number. So we need 3 fields, 3 text fields, and we need 3 labels so that each field is labeled so that the customer knows what that field does effectively. So under form, we've got input label. So we'll drag that down. And then we've got input field, and we can drag that down as well underneath it. Okay. And then if we just duplicate that one, actually we can just duplicate that using this button 2 more times, and then we've got the same with the field. We can just duplicate that again, and then using, if we want to drag that, we come over here and use this white sort of crosshair. Click over it, just wait for it to turn white, and then just click and drag, and we want to go under that input label there, and it doesn't matter which one we grab here, we're going to grab that one and go under there. So we've got our 3 input labels here, so we can just click on these, and over on the right hand side click on configure. And for all of this stuff, by the way, I always have expert mode on because it gives you more settings. If you see, if I turn this off, you've got much less control, so I keep that on. Now under configure, input label, we're going to call this one name, update. This one we're going to call email, and the last one we're going to call phone. Now if we select the container, I want the form to be white, the background of the form. So I'm going to click with this container selected. Let's make sure we've got our there we go, background, and select that white. And I want it to be, obviously I don't want it to be this big, so I'm going to go size, relative to parent, I'm going to bring that down so that it's much smaller. And the spacing, I want it to have some padding all around. And now you can see it's starting to look a little bit more like a form. So we're going to come in and design this properly later on. We want to have a bit of margin around it, so let's select that. Actually no, let's go up a level. We want to go on the block. To do that, we want to give that some padding. So that you imagine if this green was our image, that's going to give us, we're just going to see our image in the background and then the form in the middle. We'll go through how to configure these in a different video because that's one sort of one task in itself. So at the moment we're just dealing with the layout. And the other thing I want to do is where this image meets the bottom of this, I want that to be separate. So I'm just going to give that whole block some space, just like that. Then we want to add the button at the bottom of the form. So we go to Elements, scroll down to the Form section, drag in a Submit button underneath the last field. And we click on that. We want to give it some space. So under spacing, we're going to click on the top margin, drag that out, give it some room underneath the last field. And finally, we want to select the form container. We want to go to Layout, and we want this to be in the middle. So to do that, we click Vertical, and that stretches the button across. And then if you want to configure the button, eventually we'll do this when we come to design the site, that's done in the in configure here. So you can go and put whatever text you want on the button. But for now, this is good enough for our layout. We can see what we've got, so we'll click Save. And that's it. We can go over and have a look at what we've got here. So that's our contact form. The next thing we want, testimonials. So again, it's a centered title, 3 images, and each image has got some text underneath. So if you look, that's really pretty much the same as the services section. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clone this whole section here. So I'll click somewhere in here, go up a level, and we'll go up again until we've got the whole block like that. I'm going to hit this. Now when you're in the block level, these icons are slightly different. If you remember before, when you're at the other level, you have clone, trash, and going up a level. When you're actually at top level, the going up a level disappears. So you have this star, which means you can actually save. If you wanted to use this block over and over again, you can save it to your, to your preset blocks, and you can choose to put it in a category or not. Doesn't matter, and you can use it over and over again once you've styled it how you like and all that sort of stuff. So at the moment, what I'm going to do is duplicate it. So click on duplicate, and you'll see down here it's giving me a copy. Now I want to move that to below the form. So just drag it down. See, we're underneath, and obviously if we look back at our plan, I only want to have 3 testimonials. So if I go to one of these bottom images, I go up a level, and I go up a level again, I've got this whole 3x3 layout selected. If you look down at the bottom there, it's pink highlighted. I can just go up to this icon and click on the bin to trash it, confirm, and that's that done. And I don't want the background on this section, so I'll go to the area, the container that contains the background. If you're clicked on something else and it hasn't got that element in it, you see background has got nothing next to it here. If I go up a level, if you watch over here at background as I go up, see how it's got a green dot next to it now? That means something is active in there. Something has been changed from the default. And in this case, it's the background. So I'm going to go no fill. And that's just going to be there like that. So our testimonials will just be like that in the center of the page. We can put our images in. We can put our text in. And the last thing we're going to do is the footer. Now, quite simply, what I want to have on this for now is just a copyright and the name of the website, the bottom left, and the bottom right is going to be a clickable email link with just the contact email of the company. So for that, we're going to have a blank, empty block. So we'll put an empty container in down here. And we will put under elements, a 2-column layout inside it. And then inside there, we're just going to put some text in the left-hand side. And in the right-hand side, if we go down to buttons, we've got a text link, which I want to put on the right. And similar to what we did before, I'm going to click into this text container. So I clicked on the text. I'm on the link here, so I want to go back a level. So I'm going to go up. So I'm on the container. I want to do the layout, and I want it to be aligned to the right. And on this one, I'm going to go up, and I want that to be aligned to the left. And we'll go up again, so we select the whole block. We're going to give it a bit of space, so we go spacing. We want to give it we'll give it some padding, top and bottom, something like that. And we're going to give it a margin as well to move it even further down. And this will probably have a background color to it, which will fit along with our website, but for now we'll just go grey. And that's it. So that's our footer, and then we can change these links. We'll get into how to actually edit the information within this, but this is just building out the page so that this, I'll just save that quickly, resembles what we've got in our original plan. So we've got our headline, our intro text. So headline, intro text here. I'm going to put an image in the background. Then we've got our logo up the top right here. Then we've got why we can help you here, and then 3 features of their business which they want to highlight, which will be here. Then underneath that we've got services with 3 images, 3 descriptions, another 3 images, another 3 descriptions. So there we go, services, 3 images, the description can go under there, and the same again. Then beneath that, we've got the image background with a contact form, which is this here. And then the testimonials after that, which will be this. I'll actually type that in. We can put our images in and our testimonial text. And then the footer, which is for now just going to be the copyright and then the website, and then a clickable email link at the bottom. Now I know that was quite a long video, but I just want to break it down a step at a time so that you've got the basics to go from planning your website to actually starting to build it. And although I know this is quite involved, if you learn to do it this way from scratch, then you have much more control over the tool GroovePages as a whole. Whereas if you're working with pre-designed elements from the beginning, you're very much reliant on how those preset elements and blocks are set up. So you won't have quite as much control when it comes to tweaking things and getting things to look exactly as you like them. So if you build them from scratch, I always think it's better, because if you know how something works from the ground up, it puts you in a much better position when you need to actually really dig in and get the most out of it. So I hope you found it useful, and I hope you're able to follow it okay. If you've got any questions, feel free to pop them in the comments, or get in touch on the email info@grooveuser.com. If you like the video, give it a like. If you're interested in more of the guides on how to use GroovePages or all of the GrooveFunnels softwares, then subscribe to our channel, because we're going to lots of new videos are going to be added in the coming weeks. If you haven't yet got your GrooveFunnels account and had a play around with GroovePages or any of the other tools, then head on over to GrooveUser.com, where you can grab that for free. There's also some really cool bonuses there for some of the other products, so you might want to check those out as well. In the next video, I'm going to cover how we start to put all this together and populate it and make it look more like the actual finished website that we want to make. So we're going to take it step by step, a little bit at a time, so that you can hopefully follow along and become really comfortable with using GroovePages. So I hope you've liked the video, and until next time, take care. See you soon. Thanks for watching.